Hello and welcome to the heart of mid-Sussex. We're in Hassocks and I'm here with David Knight, owner of Knight's Budgens of Hassocks. In a minute we're going to have a store tour, but first of all, David, if you could just tell us a bit about the store and how you came to own it.
Okay, thanks David. We bought the store in December 2007, so we've been here about 3.5 years. The store is 4,500 square feet and it takes an average of £88,000 a week.
It might be May in Sussex, but it's getting a bit chilly, so let's go inside and have a look. So we're in the fresh and chilled section of the store, very important part of any convenience store, but particularly here. So David, tell us how important the fresh and chilled section is and how you go about making it look so well presented.
Okay, well, you're correct in that fresh is incredibly important to us. It currently makes up 48% of our sales mix. So the first thing we do is we dedicate an awful lot of team members to these sections. We're very lucky in that we chose an innovative fridge system called iAir, which uses outside cold air and mixes it with refrigerant air outside and basically fans it through to the fridges. So the fridges are incredibly cold as well, which certainly helps with produce freshness, as you can see today.
No retailer wants to be in a quiet store, but it's noticeable how little noise these units make. Are they environmentally friendly?
Yes, they are. Basically, the fridges have no working parts, no fans, no motors, no condensers or evaporators. All of that happens outside in the units at the rear of the store. So what we have a situation is that all we have is just cold air breezing through the cases. We've estimated quite accurately that it's saving about 160 tonnes of carbon a year. And that's a 64% energy saving, and that's without doors on the cases as well. If we were to put doors on the cases, it goes up to around 72% energy saving. So there's a really good green message that we can send out to the community, and also our energy bills are really good on the back of that as well.
So we're standing here surrounded by delicious-looking meat and fish. David, I understand a lot of this is locally sourced.
Yeah, that's correct. We have an agreement with the local butcher just outside the village and a local fishmonger. So they add probably about 80 local lines into the mix, as well as the standard sort of Budgens meat lines that we do. What we've also done with our merchandising is we've added in finishing sauces, packet sauces, condiments, and it's all about going back to that customer journey that we talk about where we designed the store. It's about extra pickup. People put two meals together as they walk round, so they've brought their fruit and veg, they've walked the fresh, they've picked up their nice meat, and now they've got a lovely sauce to go with it. And it's about hooking them almost all within the first aisle. It's something we never did well before, and it's really paid dividends now financially.
We're standing here against a backdrop of pictures from the local area. And David, local supply is a very important part of your business and your philosophy.
Yeah, that's right. Local is a huge part of our strategy. Certainly when we bought the store, we wanted to educate people about food sustainability, food miles. We currently have 53 local suppliers, and that makes up about 3,200 SKUs in the store, so it is really important. And I guess the biggest shift we've had in the last year has been having a dedicated local section in the store and really promoting it as local. What we've decided to do is integrate the products into every section. Every section of the store has local in them. And the biggest feedback we get from customers is that there's local products everywhere, as opposed to all in one slot, which we do see when we go into other stores. And we think we've really benefited from that, because there's a real abundance of local now. As people shop the regular fixtures themselves, it jumps out at them.
So David, we're in the convenience store section of the store, and in a sense this is two stores in one, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. When we looked at the customer journey or the shopper mission side of the store when we bought it, we realised we weren't really looking appealing to that customer. That we needed just pure convenience. So what we've done is created a food to go section, which incorporates hot food, confectionery, crisps and snacks, cold drinks, sandwiches, and put it all into an L-shaped area. So for that customer that's time poor, that needs to find everything for lunch, for snack now, they can.
But in amongst all these fabulous products, of course, it's very important you have a good price on the basics. And notice you do Tesco price matches on a lot of items, particularly milk.
You can get very lost in our store with premium and looking at all the local suppliers. And again, when we looked at our business plan, we must make ourselves broad base, appeal to every man. And there are lots of people that like local products, But at the same time, we need to be competitive in the market. So we have currently 700 Tesco price match lines, basic lines, bread, milk, eggs, things like that. But we've extended them across the store now into grocery, health and beauty, frozen, and that's working really well for us. We don't ignore the fact that we need Muller yogurts at 4 for £2, and those deals that drive volume and that they see in Tesco's. That's so important to the business. But we'll have a local yogurt for a different demographic customer that needs something slightly different. So it's just broad base appeal to everybody.
We're standing here in the frozen section. Many people will say that frozen is a declining industry, but you've got 11 freezer cabinets here, David, and you're clearly doing the category properly.
Yes, I think certainly in convenience, frozen isn't done very well at all. It's a category that's actually increasing, certainly since the credit crunch and the recession. And we're finding that people are wanting frozen. There's lots of new product development in frozen, lots of new lines coming out. And if you haven't got the space to do that, then you're really at a disadvantage. So yeah, we've done a proper full range review, and we've got just about everything that a large supermarket would carry in the frozen range, albeit slightly cut down. But it's a really good offer, and we're really proud of it.
I'm here in one of the key sections of the store, which is the bottled ale store. David, tell me how you divided up the logical flow of this fixture.
Okay, this is what we call our wall of ale. It's probably something that we get the most comments on from our male customers. They're very pleased with the range. And we've changed it slightly again at the end of last year. It was, again, because of the climate. We've moved a third of the fixture into volume deals. The next third into the main brand, the big brands that we need to carry. And then what we've added is another third for all the local and again, appealing to that higher demographic customer. And what we find with the local ale, is that we have that bottle of the week. The customer comes in and takes one bottle, and they'll try a different one every week. And we've got a real name for ourselves on that. So we're appealing to, again, that everyman approach in terms of our strategy. So volume, promotion, need to drive that through because of the category, nature of the category. We've got our big brands which people recognise that they'll be looking for those when they come in, and then we've got all of our specialists, our differentiation lines, again, and well presented at the same time, and just appealing to that everyman approach all the time.
We're standing in front of Brown Bag Crisps here, one of the newer lines that you've listed, David. I understand they're doing a tasting with you at the weekend.
Yeah, that's right. We do operate a tasting calendar, tasting rota as it is in the store. And the management team are tasked with tasting every other week on a Saturday and sometimes on a Friday. The best success we have when we launch a product is from a tasting. Initially, we see a good probably 30% uplift that weekend, perhaps even higher. What's interesting to note is that the local suppliers all buy into this. As a policy, we don't ask them to fund the tasting stock. We do that ourselves. But what we find with the big suppliers is that there doesn't appear to be an appetite for when a big product is launched for any tasting stock or any tastings organised. And certainly from our point of view, we have a tasting team in store that are trained, that come in every other weekend to do this thing. And I think it's a massive opportunity in the industry that we're all missing out on. That tastings really work. And I think if they got behind that, they would see a huge uplift in the convenience sector.
So 2012, lots of great patriotic events coming up this summer. And David, I can see you're ready for those.
Yeah, that's right. We take patriotic events, Valentine's Day, Pancake Day, very seriously actually in the store. It's a huge opportunity for stores to get behind. This year in particular, there's a convergence of events. There's almost too many to get behind. But we use the space at the front to really hammer home whatever it is, whether it be Valentine's, Pancake Day, Mother's Day. It's a really key selling feature, and we go all out. If I'm honest, it's something we don't spare on, as you can see.
So David is one of those retailers who's not afraid to get behind the till, but you use your EPOS system as kind of a fundamental tool to your business. I understand, David.
Yeah, that's correct. I've been described as a data junkie, and I'm guilty of that. We have an Indigo EPOS system that's linked to Budgens. So we have a Budgens Plough within that, so all the Budgens products scan. But with so many local lines, we insist that all the local lines scan as well. So we operate 100% scan rate. And then what we do is we export all of that data into a number of different reports. So we have an input over sales report, which tracks our purchases over our sales to make sure that that effectively then feeds a cash flow report, which monitors our cash flow. We then have a gross margin report, which is analysing that same scan rate to make sure that everything is scanning through at the right price, at the right margin, and we can track our margin. We have another report that's called our management report, which is self-built through Sage, and what that does is analyse like-for-like down to subcategory departments, so we can analyse ales, like-for-like performance on ales. We then have a supplier performance report as well, which is probably one of my favourites, because we operate so many lines. It's currently about 11,800 SKUs. Not all of them are performing in 4,500 square feet. So we have to cut dead wood, and we do that every 12 weeks via range review, and we use the data to do that. So the section heads, whether it be the produce section head, the dairy section head, will have a review meeting, and they will nominate the lines that they want to delete, and they will have the wastage information to provide that the lines aren't selling, and we don't carry lines that we don't need, and everything is constantly reviewed. The power of EPOS now, the data's all there, it just needs to be utilised, and there's a lot of work up front to do some of the reports, but once you've built them, they're all in Excel via Sage, and it's all automated. So we've written a few macros, and it does it itself now. The hard work and the pain was up front, and now it's not.
David, tell us a little bit about what you do in the community.
When we bought the store, the community element for us was so important, because it's quite a tight-knit village, and I think certainly where we excel and what we do different is we engage in different ways, and we get lots of requests for raffle prizes and sponsorships and things, which we do, and they're all good. But we took a different turn over certainly the last year, where we started to engage with the schools a lot more. We host 2 local supplier events at the schools, a Harvest Festival and a St George's Day event. And then we started to think differently and think, could we interact using the suppliers with the schools? And we did 2 projects, the big ice cream project and the Apple for an Apple project, and basically involved children designing ice cream flavours, going to manufacture the ice cream with the supplier, then doing market research back in the store, tasting the flavours, the customers choosing the flavour that they like the best, and then the proceeds of the sale of the ice cream going back to the school. And we did the same with the apples. The children were asked to go and collect apples where they could in the village, and they managed to collect a mountain of apples, more than we thought. And we managed to make around 190 bottles of apple juice with our local apple juice supplier. And it was all about teaching the school children about sustainability and food in a fun way. The mileage we've got on the back of that is huge, because we've then engaged the parents as well at the same time, because the parents have been involved with the project. They've been involved in coming in, seeing the ice cream for sale. And it's a really good approach, I think, that perhaps stores aren't doing yet. And certainly this year we've got a number of events planned again. We're doing our own Jubilee party outside the front of the store, again with all the suppliers that we can. Our local sausage supplier is doing a bonfire banger competition, where the kids will be designing a flavour of sausage. And we've done the other things like sponsoring the football teams and things like that. We shout about it internally in the store, because it all forms part of the induction for the team. So every team member that joins us has to walk through the corridor of training. They walk through the corridor of local community, and they walk through the corridor of local community, because they must understand what the brand is. And it's not just a Budgens store that happens to do some local products. It's Knights Budgens of Hassocks, and they must understand the difference of what they're coming into. So it's very much our stamp on local. And I think the difference that we get from that is we get proper engagement back from the community. And it certainly I've managed to finally break down the barrier between Budgens and David Knight and Knights Budgens, and people now understand that it's independently owned. And it's taken us probably 3.5 years to get there. But the last year, engaging with the schools and engaging so much with the parents has taken us to a new level.
We're here surrounded by some fantastic looking flowers and bedding plants. But David, this is not just an aesthetic thing for the shop, is it? It's actually quite a good business line for you.
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, we see horticulture as quite key to the business overall. We've grown it probably by about 400% since we bought the store, and what we've done is take on 5 local suppliers, 2 what I call micro suppliers, which are cottage industry suppliers, and overall we're seeing massive year-on-year growth. So it's become a really important revenue stream to the business as a whole now.
And what sort of level do you think you can grow it to in the next year or so?
We're looking for this year, 2012, £4,000 a week during the spring, summer periods, which we think is quite achievable.
Business is blooming.